I was at an event where someone who knew you well said you had been quite busy because you had a listing in New York, and it was just at the airport, just a casual conversation where they said that Kristian is very methodical. He reads every page before listing. He's not like a person who just like yeah, I'll trust you and just go ahead and list it and everything. Is that a fair sort of like a small story that summarizes that you like to be thorough, do things the right way, or is it an exaggeration that you have to read all the lines, all the papers? And
well, I like to be absolutely involved in what's going on, but you can't read everything, of course, and you have to trust. For me, I put a lot of trust in the team and the organization. But of course, I also need to be at a certain level of detail where it matters. So and of course, when you are in the midst of listing a company, for instance, there are lots of documents you have to read through. But
it's like a wedding almost. You have to have everything in plan.
Yes, exactly. But I'm not the only one. I mean, if you look at in a process like that, if you look at head of audit committee, the chairman as well, there's a lot of documents that you have to process to because you sign off, right, with your own name. So you want to make sure that it's accurate what actually is written in that document. So, but of course you can't read everything. That's impossible.
No, and maybe the thing is when you get to your level, you have to find the perfect balance of sort of trusting the person who is closer to the problem, while at the same time being in the problem enough to either ask the right question, give the right mandate, help out. So maybe that's always like a thing you have to balance. How involved versus, actually understanding the matter enough to contribute.
Yeah, that's right. And it's there is no kind of clear answer to this. And it depends very much on the people you have around you, how experienced they are, and so on. But I think I try to split my time into three, basically, during the week and also the year. It's 1/3 on the organization, and then 1/3 on the capital markets and the investors, and 1/3 on the commercial market, because I'm also head of commercial in BW LPG. And I think that gives me kind of also the understanding of what's going on in the market with investors and also in the organization. Because if you tilt your attention too much, one way or the other, someone will suffer at one point. So I try to split it into these three equal parts. It's not always easy, but at least during the quarter or the year, that's kind of how I think about spending my time.
Which ones gives you the most fun?
Most fun
of those three?
Yeah, actually all three of them. Because it's and they can be frustrating and fun, at an equal basis. But it's or equally fun and frustrating. But it's it depends a lot on of course what kind of issue or matter you're dealing with. So I would say it's equally spread out, I would say.
But do you feel like if you're going to be a very competent leader and not just a business person looking at deals, you actually have to, in some sense, care about people, wanting them to succeed, push them in order to actually be a good leader? That you sort of have to have that a bit innate in you?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is yes, in my view at least. And I believe in teams, building up teams which are complementary, so that you can deal with a long series of different matters and issues and opportunities. And then I also and we talk a lot about this in the management team to how to recognize people, because the force of recognition that is very strong and powerful. So if people feel that they are seen and recognized, it's something which works as a glue in the organization in a way. And you build up a lot of trust and loyalty also internally in the organization by recognizing people. And this is not this is a team effort. Everything we do is a team effort. So and of course there are always people you maybe forget to recognize, but at least we try to keep that in mind at the management team level, that we involve people, recognize them, and it makes it much more fun as well to work in an organization where you are recognized.
And maybe also a key part of that is sort of leading by example. So you mentioned the chairman already, all the things he does that also, goes down in the organization to you. So it's also about, if you're going to have a great culture, it sort of has, in some sense, to be set on the top. Because it's very hard to execute a culture from the bottom up and then mid-layer. It just like...
That doesn't work. No, you have to lead by example. And that's obviously a challenge because no one is perfect. So, we coming back to my, if you, it's also about how much time you want to spend on it, right? If you don't want to spend time on it, it's impossible. But you need to spend at least, a fair chunk of your time on the organization if you are to succeed with, these things that we talk about now.